Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at Tommy's gameplay where he absolutely goes off. I know we featured him in a Twitch Rivals match, which plays considerably different than a regular pub that is open to the public, that obviously has a little bit of skill-based matchmaking, but there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to talk about in today's gameplay to explain what makes Tommy so good. I highly recommend checking out his Twitch live streams where he does this type of stuff regularly and posts the highlights over on YouTube, which will both be linked down in the description, including the individual loadouts for the weapons he's using will be there as well. If you enjoy the video, please do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're brand new, want to find your way back, double check, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and feel free to comment another top player you'd like me to go ahead and check out. Obviously, with this particular format, what they are doing is they are landing a little bit hot. They go for the helicopter over at Hospital, because this is practicing a 2v2 tournament wager type of format, and that's what this match is. It's 2 versus 4, so you kind of get those reps in handling quads on your own, because a lot of times that 2v2 format is basically 2 teams versus 2 teams. They don't buy each other back. They generally avoid calling UAVs to not give their other guys the advantage. You go to the gulag, you kind of got to play a little bit different. So that's what we're going to kind of check out today and kind of look at how they play. Obviously, coming out right off aggressive off the helicopter, getting it. They got a lot of reps grabbing the helicopter. Was able to pick up a few kills. Teammate comes in, finishes them off, and then they end up with a few different kills to start off. On top of that, there's also some orange chests generally in this area, a lot to loot, and a lot of areas to just finesse your opponent. So that's why there's a lot of areas you can get on head glitches, you can get behind cover, and you can really use your movement to your advantage and kind of understand where the enemy is going to be. You just make those individual plays. So that's what you're going to see throughout the gameplay. You're going to see the little bit of the pacing. Obviously, within 2v2 wager style, you're going to be players down. Essentially, it's you and your teammate versus other quads in the lobby. So you have to be prepared on how you're going to challenge these teams. In this particular case, he's running a pretty aggro MAC-10 class setup. Happens to have stopping power, which is pretty nice. Down the player back there. Didn't look like he was self-reviving. And they push the pace. Giving good call-outs. If you want to see these live, these types of gameplays are uploaded on their channel. You hear all the comms. Obviously, I'm going to be talking a lot through it, so you're not going to hear everything. Or else this video would be like 50 minutes. If I'm talking, and then we listen, talk, listen. We're going to just kind of go through it. And you can see how their teammates kind of like pinching the enemy team. He was able to get the knocks. Usually this early, most people don't have self-revive, but sometimes they do. The guy ended up having a street sweeper because there's 5 different street sweepers currently as floor loot. Comes through, gets a good cleanup. One of the things that I really like about Tommy is a lot of times he'll vocalize what his kind of thought process is, gives really good communication, acts as a really good in-game leader. But on top of that, he has really good gun skill. Obviously, being a former professional Call of Duty player, he knows how to center really well, which becomes a lot of the reason why you win and lose gunfights. If you're centered at the right spot, then when you're aiming down sight, you're already center mass. You control the recoil, you get a couple headshots in the mix, and you delete people with minimum wasted effort. And that's just from years and years of practice of playing against people at the highest level. Obviously, even though there's skill-based matchmaking, there are some good players in the lobby, there's some bad players in the lobby, and some average-based players, and you have to approach your gunfights wisely. So there's going to be different things he does to kind of figure out and assess the enemy's behavior for how good they are. And a lot of good players can immediately tell, yep, this guy doesn't look that good. Even if you die to a player, you could be like, they're not that good because they did this, this, or that. And maybe they just caught you off guard. They had dead silence. They had ghost. Some of those types of things. So they're pushing for a bounty. As we've seen with a lot of these higher kill, fast-paced games, he already has 6 at the moment. But a lot of times what separates him is just that overall pacing and keeping the money. So he's going to grab this bounty. You can see his teammates already pushing to where the red dot is. There happens to be a bounty over there. They're going to kind of probably go ahead and collapse on them again. Teammates probably getting in a little bit of intel. He's going to peek a different angle and just kind of peek over, see if he sees anyone running outside. Pre-aimed. Here's some glass. There's a guy right here. He ends up doing the right move. It's just the guy ends up having street sweeper, and there's not really much you can do with it. It is what it is, right? It's just ends up being this guy. This is what the loadout this guy chose, and it's completely broken gun for within that 7-ish meters gunfight. You're pretty much not winning that gunfight with anything. The guy doesn't have that. The guy loses that gunfight probably 9 times out of 10. I think the Street Sweeper is one of those ones, kind of like your get out of jail free card. If the person you're attacking doesn't know you have it, you probably already won that gunfight. So he's going to come in here, typical gulag. The other thing that's incredibly important is his teammate went to the gulag as well. But these guys win their gulags at like 90% rate. They're very talented at that. That's probably one of the most important parts in maintaining a decent KD, going on more consistent, higher kill games, is you have to be able to win your gulag. Because if you don't win your gulag, one, your team could be eliminated, and the enemy team's not going to revive you. Other part is if you see his teammate didn't get the gulag, so now he's got to worry about regaining, right? Like trying to get enough money, and this is just slowing down what is possible in terms of being able to buy back your teammate. You got to go and get the loot, and now instead of 2 people trying to kill people, it's just none, and he's got to go ahead and play a little bit more passive, get the loadouts, get the money, whatever they got to do, but they're not able to go full aggro and kill. Even though they don't have an opponent in this case, they are just kind of just going through how they would typically play it, because you still would play those out. As long as you're alive, you have a chance until there's just not enough kills left because everyone in the lobby died. And this is actually a pretty decent lobby. There's still 110, what is that, 112, 109 people left now, and he's already gotten 7 kills. So quick little supply run, fast and easy. Gonna go ahead and land over there, buy back the teammate. He knows some enemies are there, and in this particular situation, you could bait and assess how good those teammates or those enemies are by how aggressive they are at shooting you, one, and then how accurate they are. You can see that they weren't like very accurate. They weren't landing a ton of shots. So by that estimation, those probably aren't good players, and good players would just try to beam you out. They wouldn't purposely miss shots to mislead you. So he knows they have loadouts. This is a good thing. He's trying to come down, steal their loadout so he don't have to push anything. Kind of baiting around. You can see his teammates already on ground level coming in for the flank, and they're pulling in the timing. So he goes, takes one out, takes this guy out, has an LC-10. There's a Street Sweeper there, so he comes through. He still has already another Street Sweeper because there's 10 of those. And you're going to see a lot of the movement. They overjump, they slide in, and they do this thing called cammering, where you kind of come through, and there's a huge desync between what your character sees and what the enemy character sees. So a lot of times when you jump around the corner, you could see them well before they see you, and it creates a little bit because the game can't keep it in order. And that's the way COD's always been, just because the movement is a little bit fast. There are games that, you know, don't really have that issue, but they usually play way slower and the mobility's not an issue. Whereas in this, he was able to take advantage of the broken Street Sweeper that got him earlier in the match. So now they have 3,700 combined. They picked up enough, like where they have a UAV. They got these guys loadouts, because most people are running meta loadouts in these quote-unquote sweatier lobbies, or just, you know, SBMM Warzone type lobbies, where pretty much the guns, they'll already have the loadout. So they're able to pick that up and then go that route. So now he's going to be able to push to his loadout over here, pick up his actual guns or perks. So maybe he just picks up like a ghost class, since he already has an AMAX. Maybe he just doesn't already have that set up. It all depends. But over here, now they've already had a chance to regain, and then they could start working on this bounty to get their cash flow back up. So he comes through, grabs the loadout. He just got overkill. So he wants his AMAX, and then gets that MAC-10. That, like I said, he already has a video talking about that MAC-10, which is a high mobility one on his channel, if you want to go ahead and check that out. So he's messing around. He's like, I'll race you. And sometimes people watch the gameplays and be like, well, I wish I had those types of players in my lobby. You know, sorry to break it to you, but you are those people in the lobby. If you're questioning the lobby 9 times out of 10, obviously there are people who do reverse boosting, but that wouldn't benefit him, right? Because obviously he's in a wager. It doesn't do him any good to practice against bad players or lobbies that don't make sense. So you just play in whatever lobby you get, because that's kind of how you're going to practice, right? So if you feel like, you know what, I wish I had players like that in my lobby, you're probably that player. And obviously like a 5KD player who plays for money day in, day out, who has great win percentage, wins gunfights, isn't cheating, has a proven track record of authenticity and not cheating. It's kind of one of those things that, you know, he obviously is at a level that not as easily attainable, but it is what it is. So They got another UAV. They're going to push this team. And a lot of times what you do is knowing that you're in a gunfight where you're always going to be in a low position. You have to play your life. And usually the goal is to try and get at least one pick to change it from a 4v3 or a 4v2 to a 3v2. So you can see he throws the car that way. He pushed it all the way over there. So now they're going to be tracking it because that's how most people track vehicles, because they still stay red for a little bit. And people will track it. He got 2 downs. His teammate's already pushing through the building. So 2 down. This one's creeping up on the side. Boom, he got him. And then there's still one more that he downed here. And then last one selfing. So they come through and they kind of collapse on it. But the key was using the car as bait and then not taking forever so they know exactly where he is. He's able to take one out close to the statistical TTK because he's not like missing any shots. Then immediately swaps over to the next guy who kind of reacted a little bit slower. Took out 2. His teammate comes in, gets another one, and then he ends up closing the distance with that fast MAC-10. And then you end up closing the distance where you essentially get rid of the gunfight. And the fight was over before it started because, especially when you have that many people, comms are a lot crazier. I'm down. Oh, he's right there. But when you only have 2 people, totally different. So you can see his teammate is kind of baiting over here on the left. He's going far left. And that's going to draw a lot of the attention. There might be 2 teams here, but he's drawing a majority of the attention. You can see the guy here. He makes sure the shot's good before he snaps on. Look at how the crisp the centering was. He takes this guy down, breaks his armor. He pinged it. So now the teammate takes him out. He got the assist. There's still one guy in this house. And then the guy he downed that's crawling away takes him down. He goes in preemptively, throws a nade, snaps on, destroys the guy. That was a clean little kill there between 2 teams fighting. They just came in third partied at the right time. They were focused on the car. The enemies were, and he was able to come up, get one clean kill. The other one, you know, it was a little bit slow to react because of these little pillar things in the way. But it just snaps on and destroys the people pretty easily. And that's, the AMAX is so good. I know some people say the recoil is hard to control. I think for below average players it is. I think for the average player, if you spend any amount of time using the AMAX, which basically it hasn't been touched in ever, I would definitely say that it's relatively easy to control. So now we got 2 guys in the quad. There's a guy up top that they kind of got to watch out for. He ends up snapping, destroying this guy. This guy swaps seats to try and shoot. His teammate comes in. He's peeking the top area just to double check. And while he gets checking up there, he ends up getting shot from across the way. Probably someone with Ghost. If they didn't pop up on the mini-map, it's definitely someone with Ghost and a suppressor more towards the airport building side. Even though they know someone's up in ATC, generally it's not worth your time to hang out there. There's not much you're going to get out of that. He's pushing over here to get another bounty. Since they are short on cash, they need the bounty for both money as well as to be able to get it as kind of like a portable UAV, which kind of gives a rough area of where the enemies are. And we've seen this behavior with a lot of the top players that we looked at. They pretty much have a ritualistic pattern where it's like a bounty, money, UAVs, and then get kills and combine that, right? Like you just kind of do that loop. His teammate got killed. He's able to push up. There is a berth on the other side. There's a heli up here, I think, as well. It's a little harder to see. But there's multiple vehicles on the screen, and you can kind of see how he's looking. He's trying to just pre-aim the area a little bit. He sees the guy jump out. There's still another. He double checks first before he thirsts. He double checks it. Hey, is anyone else in the area? Let me pre-scan it really quick before I thirst. Because sometimes when you thirst, you get a little bit of tunnel vision. So you can see he took a half second to assess it, and then he finished off the kill. And then now he's peeking again just to double check. Hey, where's this other one at? Since he doesn't know. And he wants to try and work his way towards the buy, obviously, so he could get his teammate back. And generally, when you don't have gulags and your teammate's not in the game, you have to play your life because that's it. It's over, right? So he comes through, gets a quick buy. Probably heard the guy, comes through, and then he gets shot by another one. Just kind of how it was. Unfortunate. This guy had Ghost. And he ended up getting shot kind of in the side. It's just kind of how it goes. His teammate's going to get him money. Bring him back. He's going to play some little clutchness. So you can see he's landed over here at Super, the new Super. He's going to get the scav together. And depending on, you know, whether or not it works out or not, he'll be able to grab all 3. Or he'll just grab 2, get enough money, call him back in, and then he's good to go. The big problem right now is there's not really a lot of good buys. That the buy where they were just at is pretty much the main good buy at the moment. So he's going to push over here. You've seen the person cross over. So now he's like, oh, shoot. I don't want to play this because if there's too many, he can actually get screwed. And there's no buy here. So he's just kind of like looking around like, oh, man, what the heck am I going to do? And then you can see kind of where the scavs have gone. There's somebody in a vehicle. Somebody got bought across the way. So he's got to kind of work his way back towards the other buy because obviously there's fighting and action going on over there. He could have probably gone to airport, but he's just going to work his way back all the way to the other side. He's like, why are you going over there? So it's kind of one of those things that it's just like, this is a regain part of the game. I think he has 7 and I think Tommey has like 25 kills or something like that. It's kind of like flown by the number of kills that he's gotten at this point. It's pretty nuts. He's just working his way back over there. Gonna peek it, see if he can get any picks off it because obviously he got wiped by a team here. He's kind of going just directly for it. He jumps over and is like, oh shoot. Didn't have his perk, so when he swaps weapons there, it's kind of bad spot. You can see he's kind of using the wall as that cover. Didn't even notice the other guys, so he's going to go ahead and change his angle. And sometimes what they'll do here is they do a little bit of snaking. He didn't do much of it there, but they use that kind of like head glitch where they can see, but because of that desync that we're talking about where they take like a wide angle or they camera the people, they use the in-game mechanics that are broken to essentially go that route. So he comes around, snaps on that dude, manages to hit the shots he needs, has enough money to get a UAV, self-revive, buy back the teammate, different stuff. So he gets in there to buy really quick. Luckily, I think he has a gas mask, so he might be able to recover and do a stretch route. He died here. And then this is where it kind of goes out the window. They're just going to play for like a win because Tommy's probably having a good game at 21 kills. So I think he just lands here at ATC, gets a most wanted. This is where it kind of diverts off path from the typical wager because you probably would not grab a most wanted in a wager. You would just probably group up with the other 2 teammates, try and pick off a kill here and there, loot, get the money from that, and then that'll allow you to go back and get your teammate. Getting a most wanted is a little bit off script when it comes to the style of wager practice, but they're already kind of towards late game, so it shouldn't be too insane. Like you get the most wanted, you got to wait out the 3-minute clock. You're gonna get the 6,500. That ends up being very crucial. Actually, you'll see in a little bit. Throws out the trophy. Can't really do much with that. And then just kind of scanning the area. Somebody is likely up top still. Obviously, they didn't have ghosts before, but now they do. So there is one up there. So now he's got to kind of scan through, see if anyone he can keep them coming across, especially with the changes that they've done with the 1984 Verdansk. This area is like a death pit, right? Like you got to use a vehicle to cross, or you got to already be across. But this gives him the perfect opportunity to gatekeep. He picked up those regular guns. He's going to have to kind of shift their way to a loadout 1 minute down. So he gets a nice little kill there. A little bit too low or it would have been a headshot. He lines those up. Those guys are already fighting somebody else, so he's kind of third-partying it. They will definitely see his glint, but he's all in there. And then he's going to go ahead and try and peek the guys down low. They're obviously looking up top, so he third-partied that guy. Missed one shot. Hits another one chest. And then he's just kind of going to get this guy, the tip of his head, right behind the logo. Obviously, it's popping up with the gifted. But he did end up hitting the headshot right there, which will probably get him a clean kill. Because unless that guy has self-revive up the top, he's probably going to die out. He ended up dying out. He's getting another hit here. He's just peeking. All these guys have to cross. So he's in an ultimate power position. The only downside is they could ping him. And then they could essentially know where he's at because when you have the most wanted, it's a live marker. Good, clean shots. He almost found the perfect gun for this situation, too. He's kind of running out of ammo, though, so he's got to switch to this FFAR. He's like, he can hear the audio. Somebody's up top, he says. I think I saw the shadow of the guy work her way across. Footsteps right there, too, right? I think that's what he was like. What the heck? So here it is. Guy down low. So he doesn't jump out the window right away. The guy does give, I think, a call out. So now he's just listening for audio. There should be a... Oh, He's getting beamed. Luckily, he reacts to pick up that dead silence. He makes kind of a lot of noise to see if the guy's going to push up. So you kind of see him working his way back and forth, and then he pops the dead silence and makes a play to come back in there where he's fully plated. The guy shouldn't you really catch him. It's kind of working its way around. We can't really see it because the logo thing's covering it. Comes through, kind of predicts where the guy's going to be as he comes through, locks on pretty much and destroys the guy with the FFAR, which is still a pretty good weapon, by the way. Even though it got nerfed, they just made it really good instead of like overpowered, right? Like the gun didn't become dirt. But you know, it's just a matter of having a little bit slower ADS with it. Again, these aren't his guns. So he's going to work his way back to the loadout, working his way around, probably hit up this buy, get some stuff before it collapses.
Can't buy you back anymore.
There it is. So he's like, I can't buy you back anymore. Don't die. So there's 2 on the loadout. His teammate's able to take out 1. And then there's like 4 people on the north side of the zone. So there's probably like, I don't know, 4 other people ghosted. Because what is that, like 5, 6 at the top of the map? 1 with him, with the 2 of him and his teammate. That makes about 9. So it's probably about 3 or 4 people ghosted. So he kind of just pushes aggressively for it. Obviously, he has the AMAX, which he's not going to miss much shots with. But still has a little bit of ammo from looting the guy earlier. So it kind of worked out really good. Some people would probably grab Ghost fully loaded in that situation, but he didn't really need it. Might grab another perk. But I think for the situation, it's like, it doesn't really matter at this point. He knows where everyone's at. He's going to use the edge of the gas, probably hit them up from behind. He ended up getting sniped from a guy we can't even see. He's able to hit a self-revive. That's sometimes a good thing. If you get sniped, you're good. If somebody's shooting at you, kind of a little bit harder. So immediately goes into plating. His teammate's taking care of the left edge. He ended up getting it down there. You can see the guy up here. You can see him right on the mini-map. Easy little peek. Takes him out. Thirst right away. And then he's going to peek this right side. Just kind of see what's going on. Work his way towards the teammate probably just a little bit. Because the good thing with being close to a teammate, good and bad, is if you get both killed, that's it. If one of you gets killed, the other one can have an opportunity to trade out, which is a really good thing. Then you both survive, which we're going to see right now. It ends up having the opportunity. Already has 27 kills, getting close to 30. Comes through, deletes this guy. AMAX is also good at close range, man. If you mix in like a headshot with mostly chest shots, still pretty good. Backs off. Using this terrain kind of as a little bit of cover, then decides to push. You can hear the fighting going on. So he basically comes to third party, gets 2 down, and then he got a little bit of mantle action. But while he mantled, it like auto-mantled, and he was low on ammo. MAC-10, that's one of the biggest problems with it in quads, is it's very hard to push and take on 3 people. Even if they're low health, it gets a little bit tricky. So he gets a teammate. They're alive. Now it's a 2v2. He has already had 31 kills. And it seems like they would be right in front of him. Either at the house on the left. Right here. Oh, he already knows where they're at. And a lot of that action right there, he's pre-aiming on those spots. He doesn't actually see anyone. He's literally pre-aiming and baiting. Maybe making a little bit of noise for his teammate to push up. If his teammate has Daddy, he can make a play. He got the kill. Now it's a 2v1. You have to find out where the last guy is. He throws a nade preemptively. And that gives the guy a little bit less wiggle room to where he needs to go. Teammate cleans up the kill. And that's a GG. So a relatively easy game. The top players are always going to make it look easy. Just because they're that good at the game. Like I said, I highly recommend going and check him out because he does this on a regular basis. Sometimes he'll even wager people from the chat. So if you think it's just his easy lobbies, I'm sure you can go ahead and jump in, 1v1, lose some money to him, and you kind of call it a day. Again, both of those are linked down in the description, his YouTube as well as his Twitch. Go check them out. If you enjoyed the video, learned something new, please do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're brand new, want to find your way back, double check, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.